So, The Boys Season 5 finale was good, and I will die on this hill defending it. I personally believe it was a very good ending that tied off characters in a satisfying way while also staying true to what those characters actually are. And honestly, that's one of the most important things a finale can actually do. Okay, I understand Season 5 as a whole is probably the weakest season out of all of them. Right, I'm not denying that, and I'm not here to defend the whole season. I'm just here to defend that one episode, right? I think people made up their minds about this finale like 4 or 5 episodes before it even, came out. You know, people decided they were not going to like it no matter what, and because of that, the episode got absolutely review bombed on IMDb as well. Like, it's on like 5.9, whatever. Maybe even lower, but honestly, just who cares? And I'm sorry, there is no way this finale is genuinely worse than some of the other endings I've seen online. Like, there is absolutely no universe where this is worse than the Stranger Things finale. I refuse to believe that. And before people start typing angry comments already, no, I'm not saying the finale was perfect, alright? I'm not saying every single decision was flawless. And I'm definitely not saying Season 5 was the greatest season of fucking television ever. I'm defending one singular episode, which is, the last one. But the way people are acting online, you'd think the writers personally came into their fucking house and deleted every previous season from existence. And honestly, I just think people wanted to hate this ending before it even begun. Because if you actually sit back and look at what the finale was trying to do, it honestly does make sense for the characters for the series. Like, take Billy Butcher for example. I've seen so many people complain about how his story ended, saying he went too far or the writers ruined him, and I'm just sat here thinking, have we been watching the fucking same show? You know, this entire series has been showing us that Butcher is a man completely consumed by revenge. Every season he gets more violent, more obsessive, and more willing to cross lines he once pretended he'd never cross. That is literally the tragedy of his character. He was never supposed to ride off into the sunset as a clean-cut hero. The whole point is that his hatred slowly turns him into the exact kind of monster he claims to despise. And honestly, I think the finale committing to that, it was way more interesting than giving him some forced redemption speech at the last second. Because that would have just felt really fake and just, it just wouldn't have been right. Now, the only criticism I've seen that I actually somewhat agree with, right, is that the episode maybe could have been longer, right? I do understand people saying the whole Butcher downfall arc maybe needed another episode to fully breathe. Maybe you could have had Homelander die in the second to last episode and spent the finale focusing entirely on the aftermath. That criticism, fair enough, honestly. But speaking of Homelander, one thing I actually loved about this finale is that Homelander finally felt pathetic. I know he kind of felt pathetic throughout the whole show, but he actually felt so down and just begging. Because underneath all that power, all that ego, all that intimidation, he's still basically just an emotionally broken child with a little superpowers. He never actually grew up. You know, the guy has spent his entire life lashing out because he always knew nobody could stop him. So the second he realized, oh shit, I might actually lose, of course he fucking panics. Of course he begs. Of course he tries to run. That reaction makes complete sense for his character. So fuck off, Elon. Just because a Homelander killed you, put you into space, and then also begged for sucking Butcher's naughty stuff, yeah, you can do one. The finale didn't ruin him. It exposed him, and that moment of him literally begging for his life live on TV felt completely fitting to me. Because not every ending needs to be happy. Not every character needs to suddenly become a better person while emotional music plays in the background and everybody hugs before the credits roll. Sometimes characters fail. Sometimes people become worse versions of themselves. And honestly, that fits the world of The Boys perfectly. You can dislike a character death, you can dislike a direction, you can wish something happened differently, but that doesn't automatically make it the worst ending ever made. Because whether people like the ending or not, the finale absolutely stayed true to the themes of the show. Power corrupts people, fame destroys morality, revenge consumes people, and nobody really walks away clean. That has been the DNA of the show from the very beginning. And honestly, I respect the finale way more for sticking to that, instead of suddenly trying to become more safe fan service ending just to make everybody happy. Because let's be real for a second, if the finale ended with, well, everyone surviving, Homelander surviving, Butcher fucking redeemed, and every character getting a happy ending, people would have complained that it felt soft and unrealistic. There was literally no version of this finale that was going to please everyone. And I think that's why the online reaction became so ridiculously negative so quickly. Once social media decides something is bad, people will just fucking pile it on. You could literally see it happening in real time. Worst finale ever. Show fell off. Writers ruined everything. And after a certain point, it just became trendy to hate it. Which is crazy to me because I've seen way worse finales get treated far more kindly online. Like, genuinely catastrophic endings that completely destroy years of character development. Meanwhile, The Boys at least committed to its tone, committed to its characters, actually gave us an ending that felt consistent with the brutal world the show created. And honestly, I fucking respect it. You know, I got another little thing, an excuse, I guess you could say. You know, the budgets for episode was about 11.5 to 15 million per episode. I'm pretty sure that's around like $90 million to $120 million for the whole season, right? Which is crazy. You know, Spider Noir had a budget of 400 million, and that show is very good. So it's I'm not surprised they didn't go scorched earth. You know, you can't just blame the writers, unfortunately. Kripke had to do some fucking magic, man. So yeah, maybe I'm in the minority here, but I generally think the hate for this finale is massively overblown. Was it perfect? Fuck no. But was it some disaster that deserves one of the lowest ratings ever? Absolutely not. I honestly think in a few years people are going to look back at this finale way more positively once the internet outrage dies down a bit. But you know, let me know what you think, because apparently defending this finale online right now is basically just kind of like a full-time job. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Somewhere in the middle. Yeah, comments below. I do want to know. Yeah, that was about it. Don't hate me. Don't unsubscribe, please. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Boom. A boom.